Hey, what's going on, everyone out there in YouTube land? So today we're going to check out an RDA coming from the man himself, Mr. Mike Vapes. Today we're going to check out the ICONIC RDA. At the moment, I got it set up in squonk mode. Got it sitting on top of the 528 Customs Drip Tech. Got a pair of tri-core fuse Claptons in here from Coilology, ohming out to a 0.1. And I got a mixture of Boston cream and chocolate Hit That Donut from the Hit That Juice line from Mike Vapes also. Let's have a quick vape, and we'll dive into it. Whew. Very, very delicious. Now, as most of you may know, I'm really good friends with Mike. We do the vape team together, so some of you may think this review is going to be biased, and for that reason, check out as many reviews on the ICONIC as possible, all right? So, with that said, the ICONIC was sent over, not by Vandy Vape, because, yeah, never mind, but the ICONIC was sent over directly by Mr. Mike himself for the purpose of this review. If you guys are looking to pick one up or check one out after the video, I will have links posted in the description. Currently, at the moment, these are on pre-order. Going price for the ICONIC, $38.99. So let's have a closer look at the ICONIC RDA, this one coming from Vandy Vape. Now, I'm not going to show you guys the presentation box because the box I got is a sample package and it's going to differ from the retail package, but inside the box, you're going to get the ICONIC RDA. It will include 3 different drip tips. You'll get a 510 drip tip adapter. You're going to get a spare parts bag that will contain O-rings, 2 different sets of post screws, a squonking 510 pin, and you'll get 2 Allen keys, one for the squonking pin and one for the post screws. Now, the ICONIC is available in 4 different finishes. We have a brushed stainless steel, we have a matte black finish, we have a heat-treated rainbow, and a gold-plated edition. The one that you see here is a polished stainless steel, and it's a sample version, so this one's not quite available yet. The ICONIC does measure 24 millimeters in diameter. They do include 3 different drip tips. We're going to get the acrylic drip tip, and depending on the finish that you go with, depends on the color tip that you get, and I do believe this is acrylic, but I could be completely wrong. And they're also going to include 2 Delrin 810 tips, these low-profiled knurled drip tips. There's the black one, and they also include a clear or a white one. And if you're an old man like me and you like using 510 drip tips, they do include a Delrin 510 drip tip adapter that does sit nice and flush on top of there. And you can use all your own standard 510 and 810 drip tips. Now, the ICONIC RDA is a dual coil only RDA, and as you can see, we have 2 different airflow settings. We have the angled air slot on the top that measures 8 by 1.6 millimeter, and then we're going to have your bottom air holes. Each of those holes will measure 2.8 millimeters each. And we have a one-piece top cap, which means we don't have adjustable airflow control, but technically, we can still adjust the airflow. I personally enjoy it wide open, but if you want to close it off for a more restricted vape, what you can do is you can actually turn the top cap and you can close off one of those air holes at the bottom, and it's going to shrink that air slot at the top. So you can run it like that, or you can continue to turn it and close it off a little bit more. And then at the bottom, we do have the ICONIC logo once again. We have Mike Vape's logo laser etched into the finish, manufactured by Vandy Vape. And this one will come out of the box with the standard 510 pin already installed. But as you can see, I did install the squonking pin. And if you're wondering, will it be safe to use on a hybrid connection with the standard pin? The answer is yes. The 510 pin does protrude far enough. And then we have the Phillips head screw right there if we want to access and remove the negative post. Checking out the construction of the top cap, I will say that the build quality on this RDA is really, really nice. All the machine work, very well done. No sharp edges. Nothing to really complain about. A nice chunky piece of stainless steel. And you'll see we have a little bit of a dome going on to help improve the flavor on the inside. All the O-rings are nice and snug. Even the O-ring for the drip tip, they did a really good job on. Having a closer look at the build deck, I measured 22 millimeters internal diameter on the build deck. Now, if you go with the stainless steel, the matte black, or the heat-treated rainbow, your build deck will be all stainless steel, as you can see here. But if you go with the gold-plated edition, the build deck is going to be all gold-plated. So you do have 2 different options there. The clamp style, As you can see, we have the Tetris style clamp system. I call it Tetris style because these little blocks remind me of Tetris blocks. And we have two different post screws. We have the Allen screws inside the bag, and then we have these Phillips head screws that also work with flathead screwdrivers. So technically, you can use 3 different screwdrivers. And we have these springs inside the clamp. You can see that little spring right there. And as you unscrew the post screw or loosen the post screw, you'll see the clamp opens up, which makes it much easier to insert your wire. And I measured those clamp openings to be roughly around 3 millimeter. It was hard to get my calipers in there, but they are fairly large. And what's really amazing is the juice well on here, 8 millimeters deep. This thing is very hard to over drip on. And the way the bottom airflow is designed, you'll notice the air tubes run on an angle. And what's nice about that is that we have the spot open underneath the air tubes to put our cotton underneath there. Usually with a bottom airflow RDA setup, the air tubes run straight down through the juice well, which takes up like 50% of the juice well. But with this design, we have all that space below here for e-liquid and for cotton. And you'll notice we have a peak insulator in the center right there separating the positive and the negative. And aside from that, you can see the squonking pin down inside there. It does stick out a little bit. Yeah, it does. Check it out right about there. And what we're going to do really quick is we're going to toss a build on here. Now for this build, I'm going to be using some of my favorite coilology coils, the Tri-Core Fused Claptons. These are perfect for unregulated or for mechanical since I'm using it on a squonk box. These all mount to around a 0.1. And the way I like to do it, I know everyone's different. They have their own technique when it comes to building, but what I like to do with this one is I mount the first coil. I don't screw it down, but I position it exactly where I want it. And you want it right in front of those air holes right there. And then what I do is I clip the leads so that way I can pre-cut the leads for the next one. Then I mount the coils. Then I screw them down. So I got the coil positioned exactly where I want it. I know it's too low at the moment, but that's right where I want it. So what I'm going to do is take my cutters and I'm going to cut the leads. Now that I have the leads cut on this coil, I could slide it out. And what I can do is I can line up these two coils together and I can know exactly where to cut the leads on this coil. So that way I have the coils already pre-cut and it's much easier to install and then screw them down. So I got the coils mounted, I got them positioned, I got them glowing nice and evenly. And personally for me, I know it's ideal to have the coils as close as possible to the bottom air holes. But I actually enjoy pulling the coils up a little bit higher. I don't know why, but I just find it, for me, to be a little bit better of a vape. So try both ways. Try pulling your coils down as low as possible. Try pulling them up a little bit higher. See which way you prefer. I prefer them a little bit taller. And we're going to grab some cotton that I already have pre-cut here, ready to go. And what we're going to do real quick is just wick it up. So I got it all wicked up. I got the cotton primed up, and a few things about this RDA when you're building on it that's very important. Now, what makes this the perfect RDA for squonking is the super deep juice well and the fact that the air tubes, once again, are on an angle, so you have all that room underneath for cotton and for e-liquid. One thing you want to keep in mind when building on this, you want to pull your coils as far as possible away from the post. I could have probably pulled my coils a hair bit further away because if you go to drip directly through the drip tip, I know some people like to drip direct. If you do that and your coils are too close to the post, what's going to happen, let's say I'm dripping right here, it's going to roll off right into the bottom air holes. And then the juice will come pouring out of the bottom air holes. All right, guys, so that's pretty much going to be it for the up close and personal with the ICONIC. I cannot find the top cap, but yeah, there it is. Let's jump back up and let's have a vape, shall we? So let me have a quick vape and we'll talk a little bit about the ICONIC. Now I'm using the 510 drip tip adapter with one of my own 510 tips on top of here. Let's have a vape. Very, very nice. I will say the flavor of this thing is amazing. It puts off some really nice warm flavor, and the airflow is smooth. Super, super smooth. Now, the drip tip options, I will say I do enjoy the resin or the acrylic tip. I forget which material it is. I do like this tip. It looks good. It feels good. The Delrin tips, on the other hand, I don't like them. They're too low profile. They're too wide bore. I know Mike loves these low profile tips. I know you guys like these things, but I just cannot stand these things. They're too low for me. I am very happy he decided to include the 510 adapter, so that way I can use all my old school 1980s style drip tips on here. So I'm very happy about that. Now, it is a one-piece top cap, so it's either you're going to love it or you're going to hate it. And you might think, oh, it doesn't have airflow control. That really sucks, but actually it does have airflow control. All you need to do is just maneuver the top cap, turn it a little bit. You can close off 1, 2 of the bottom air holes. If you close off both of the bottom air holes, you're going to have a sliver of the side airflow hole open. And what will happen is you're going to get a really restricted vape. You'll get a warmer vape, and you'll get really dense vapor. But if you open it wide open, you would think, wow, it has way too much airflow. But I can tell you, it actually has a perfect balance of side and bottom airflow. And when they're combined together, it has a nice, smooth vape to it. I find that closing off just one of the bottom air holes is like the sweet spot for me. I love vaping it like that. Now, I've been using this primarily as a squonking RDA. Using it on a squonker, I find it very hard to overdrip, over squonk, however you want to put it. You could still do it, but I find it virtually impossible. I mean, you have to really lay on the bottle to overdrip with this one. Now, if you're using it like a regular RDA, it's very easy to overdrip. I'm not going to say this is a leak-proof RDA. You can overdrip no problem. If your coils are pulled too close in and you're dripping through the drip tip, the juice will roll off the coil into the bottom air holes and it will leak out the bottom. So make sure that you pull your coils out far enough to where you have a little opening in between the post and the coil for your juice to, you know, drip down to the juice well. So it is bottom airflow. It will leak and you can overdrip, but using it in squonk mode, it's very hard to do so. As far as the build deck, very easy to build on. No complaints there. Popping my coils in, screwing them down, I had no problems there. Once again, that big juice well will allow you to put lots of cotton in here if you want to. It comes with the solid 510 pin pre-installed. It does stick out far enough to use on a hybrid connection. I did use it on a mech mod when I first got it, but then I transferred it to a squonk device, and I've been using it like that ever since. The build quality. I will say the build quality on this thing is fantastic. You know, Mike is a well-known reviewer. Whether you like Mike or you don't like Mike, it's obvious, it's a fact that he's a well-known guy, he's popular, and he's got a reputation. He's not going to put his name on a piece of garbage. So this is not one of those things where a company said, hey, here, you like this? Put your name on it. It didn't work like that. Mike designed it. He created it. There were prototypes. There were good ones. There were bad ones. And this is the final product. And I will say this is a fantastic RDA. The Icon was a fantastic RDA. And this thing is, you know, it's not a comparison to the Icon because it's something totally different. It's designed completely different. But I will say the vape, the build quality, everything about it, I've been really enjoying. And since we are really good friends, I know most of you are going to think, oh, this is biased. He just likes it because it's Mike. Honestly, if I didn't like it, I just wouldn't have reviewed it. Simple as that. But check out all the other videos. Everyone's getting theirs, I think, today or yesterday. So, of course, everyone's going to be dropping their video within 24 hours. So check out all the other videos. See what everyone else thinks. Gather your own opinion and go from there. All right, so that is it, guys. That's all I got for you today on the Iconic. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them below. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'll talk to everyone very, very soon. Make sure you guys build safe and vape on.